sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Ryan Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bad.
You are now listening to Open Season. Your host, Billy Allen.
All right. Welcome. It's another Tuesday. You're sitting in here, and we're working with the 8 o'clock hour. Billy Allen, your host. Open Season, the show. Justin Allain, Alex Torti, Frankie Bratica are the names. We got a lot to toss back and forth this week, gentlemen. We're partnering up with GuyBostonSports.com. Give them a look. Should we be concerned with Cam Newton's subpar performance? I think so. And Tom Brady and the Bucs, they're making a strong candidate for the best team in the NFL. It's got us all thinking, do we miss Tom Brady yet? Le'Veon Bell got picked up by the Chiefs in what could be the best offense that Andy Reid has ever had. The Steelers crushed the Browns, becoming the best team in the AFC, question mark. And should the Browns trade OBJ? When will Adam Gase get fired? We're talking about that. But first, we have to start out with the 18-12 loss this weekend, gentlemen. The Pats taking a tough one. The offense looked like they were stuck in mud. Cam Newton couldn't do much. And in another game where they hold an offense to only 12 points, or only 18 points, the Pats can't pull it out, guys. And it didn't look good. What are our opening thoughts on Cam Newton and the Pats' subpar performance?
I think we got outcoached. I think we should be prepared for COVID more than any other team in the league because of who our coach is, and we weren't. I think that was absolutely a factor. I think Cam Newton holding the ball was a factor, and the offensive line was absolutely porous. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame Cam Newton for this loss. I know he didn't look great, but my God, our offensive line was it's completely banged up. They were blitzing on every single play, and our receivers cannot get open. My God, 34-year-old Julian Edelman can't do it, and God, N'Keal Harry sucks. I cannot believe we actually drafted that guy in the first round.
Yeah, looking at N'Keal Harry's scouting combine, or the scouting report, they were showing it this week. You know, they said he was slow to get out of the blocks, everything. I mean, that guy cannot get open. That guy can't make a catch. They're clearly not on the same page with Cam Newton. And, Cam Newton not looking so good this week, gentlemen. Justin, you're not ready to put it on Cam, but what say you?
I mean, I don't think it's totally Cam's fault. We're talking about a team that's had 2 full days of practice in the last 3 weeks. It's been an absolute nightmare. If there's a team that can actually, adapt and overcome COVID and all the uncertainty it brings, it's the Patriots, and they aren't doing it. And they are not doing it right now.
But isn't this supposed to be the team that overcomes all those things, that this is the last team that we thought this was going to be an excuse with? You thought going into the year, the fact that you have Bill Belichick and the fact that this is the COVID year, you thought that if any team was going to be able to manage this, it was the Patriots. So are we really going to look back and let that be an excuse for this week?
I think I'm not a big excuse guy, but I think this is the one time where you can actually give the Patriots a pass. I don't know if you guys disagree with me on that, but I think you got to give it to him. Belichick has built a dynasty on practice and, going through every possible scenario. And if you take that away from him, he just becomes any other coach, I think.
There's no excuse for losing this game. I mean, the Patriots probably have the toughest schedule in the NFL. The Broncos were one of those teams you should beat.
Needed to be a win.
COVID, no COVID. Playing the 49ers this weekend, we have one of the toughest schedules in the league. We weren't prepared. The Broncos outcoached us. And let's not forget, Drew Lock hasn't played in weeks. So he came off. He looked much better than Cam. But I don't blame this on Cam. Our 2 best plays on offense this week were a Julian Edelman pass to him and a Cam Newton scramble. So I don't blame this on Cam one bit.
Didn't you see the receivers open a bit, though? I feel like guys were open, and some of it has to come on Cam to be able to throw these guys open, to be able to throw. He's traditionally hasn't been the most accurate guy throwing down the field. Didn't we see some guys open and Cam just not be able to hit them this weekend?
Which plays?
I mean, I just feel like I saw guys open. You don't feel like there were guys open this weekend?
There were absolutely plays with receivers open. Cam Newton held the ball far too long, and he can't throw guys open. That's not what he does. He's never been able to do that. But what he can do is get the ball out quickly in the Patriots scheme that has worked for 20 bleeping years and get it to Edelman, get it to your slants, get it to your drags, and get it to your backs. And I don't think he did a good job of doing that.
I mean, guys, Cam's been away from the team for 2 weeks now, 14 days. It's his first game back. We don't want to cut him any slack at all.
No, because it's not the NFL's fault. It's not the Broncos' fault. It's presumably Cam Newton's fault. So, no, he doesn't get a pass for that.
Cam said it himself. I heard him on the Greg Hill show. He talks every Monday after the game. He wasn't cutting himself any slack and was saying that he's got to be better. And I felt like there was definitely room for him to be better. I know they didn't have it in the game plan for him to run. Obviously until a little bit later on, I was kind of thinking to myself, why isn't he running here? They ran him a little bit later in the game and he was a little bit more effective, but I just feel like he left some throws out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to the game one against the Dolphins. He was running. Like, whenever he couldn't find an open receiver, he was running. But I think the defense was playing towards Cam running. Let's not forget, the Broncos, their safeties were completely stacking the box. Like, they were blitzing on every single play. Now, let's not forget, our right tackle got hurt in the first quarter. We already out Shaq Mason. We're out David Andrews. I mean, was he holding the ball on too long sometimes? Maybe. But again, I don't blame this on Cam. I'm sorry. I don't.
Who do we blame this on? Because this is a big loss here, and this is a team that they should have beat by a lot of points. And we look at it back. You look at some of the throws that Drew Lock made. I mean, they served it up for us and throwing a couple picks there when they had that they were up at the end of the game. So if it's not going to fall on Cam, and the defense played pretty well, who does this fall on?
So is the Ryan Izzo fumble, Cam? Is the snap by Tooney, is that Cam?
Yeah.
I mean, Cam's interception was terrible. I mean, I'm not going to give him any credit for that, and he deserves all the blame for that. I blame Belichick more than anybody for this. Not just for this game. I'm talking this team. This offense, these receivers cannot get open. Edelman's 34. He's clearly hurt. I don't know if he's over the hill, but I blame a lot more on N'Keal Harry. The fact that we drafted him in the first round. You're seeing A.J. Brown, Terry McLaughlin, Deebo Samuel, all these receivers every week tearing it up in the NFL. N'Keal Harry cannot get off the line and get open.
Isn't it on the coach to get him the ball,
I was just
though?
going to say, haven't we relied on Bill Belichick to coach guys to their strengths?
But also McDaniels, you don't want to get him a sweep. We did that in week one when you needed him, when you targeted him 12 times. You let him get his hands on the ball early. You gave him a rush attempt. You let him get involved. If you need him to be a factor, and that's what you expect from him, and that's what you need to do. He's a big body. He's not going to be open always, but he can high point the ball. He is decent.
I just feel like also if we're going to sit here and we're going to praise Belichick when we say that he did such a good job with COVID and managing this, I mean, doesn't it have to come back a little bit on Belichick when they don't do as well? And we're going to say that this whole dynasty was predicated off the fact that they were able to practice?
No. This loss is on Bill. I agree with you. This loss is on Bill. And also,
I think someone else was saying that it was not on Bill.
But if we don't go through this whole COVID postponement, we don't even have to play against Drew Lock. That's why I blame Bill, because institutionally, we should have played this game last week.
You guys are blaming Bill for not having the thing he does best, better than any other coach in the NFL available to him, and that's game plan and execute and practice and prepare for the situations they're going to face.
They got an extra week to prepare.
No. They did. They barely even had any
2
practices.
weeks to prepare. What
They
are you
had
talking about?
two full practices.
They also could have had a practice on Wednesday and declined to have the practice as well. So I mean,
Probably because they were fearing a major COVID outbreak.
And
they were cleared
thrown
to practice. Haven't they gone with the protocol so far?
I mean, still, even if you're going with the protocols, COVID's going to spread if it's active.
Guys, we were doing trick plays in the second quarter against the Broncos.
Exactly.
That is how bad this offense is.
Yep.
Let's just call it what it is.
What was?
It's the O-line. The O-line will be fine. David Andrews is coming back.
The O-line's our
Illuminor will
strength.
be back.
It is.
Cannon will be back. And when it's bad, we're going to look like this. When our big guys aren't very good because our skill guys aren't good, we're going to look like this.
But where's Devin Ossie?
Where are two rookie tight ends?
You're asking for the rookie tight ends, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
What do
I
you
mean,
want?
Josh Dodd wants us to trade for Njoku from the Browns.
Billy,
Love it.
I would trade for Njoku.
Love it.
Billy, what do you want?
I just want them to be able to. I was not putting a whole lot of stock in these rookie tight ends personally.
So
I mean,
you'd rather
I
have
think it's
Ryan
gonna be-
Izzo out there?
I mean, I think Ryan Izzo wasn't looking. Aside from the fumble, he actually didn't look terrible, I would say. I mean, the fumble was awful. But aside from that, he hasn't looked too bad this season. They have the least targets to tight ends.
Yeah, because he sucks.
But, I mean, weren't we sitting here saying that Tom Brady couldn't be as good with this offense? Cam, he's going to get that extra time. He's going to be able to find the receivers. Didn't we say that first couple weeks?
No, we said
Well,
Cam,
we did when he had an
Cam-
offensive line. I did, and I said it when he had an offensive
Cam in
line.
this offense, if the receivers aren't open, his ability to run, because of Brady, just like last year, the amount of times he got sacked because he held on to the ball because the receivers can't get open, that is what we're talking about.
Well, we've got one ringing through that wants to talk a little something, and you're live here on Open Season. Hi, you're live on Open Season. Who do we got?
What's up, man?
Hey, not too
How
much.
you guys doing tonight?
Hey, we're doing great. How you doing?
Not too bad.
What's on your mind?
Not too much. You would hit on Harry for a second there.
Yeah, he's not looking too great.
Not great. Looking a little bust-like, but
Looking a little slow.
Definitely.
really slow. No, I was just looking through today, and you could add Debo, A.J. Brown, Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, McLaurin.
Yeah, Metcalf, what a stud. I mean, all those guys really have been complete studs. You know, it's been pretty much anybody taken after N'Keal Harry has been a stud.
Yeah, pretty much. So what do you think? Are you putting this Patriots offense on Belichick right now?
Belichick, the GM?
I think so.
Well, I think we lost you, but we appreciate you calling in. That was he opened it up to Justin was kind of talking about that point. You've really missed out on Belichick, the GM, has really missed out on some of the weapons here from an offensive
I
standpoint.
mean, the guy can't evaluate offensive talent in the draft. I mean, that's plain and simple. He's been doing it since he got here.
You don't like Sony?
Sony, Lawrence Maroney.
The wrong running
oh,
back
man.
on the right college team. You could have had Chubb. But more than that, in the last 2 years, there are 12 to 15 receivers better than N'Keal Harry.
You don't draft
Head and
receivers in the
shoulders.
first round unless they're Julio Jones. You just don't do it. The one guy I wanted them to get this year was Justin Jefferson, but he got drafted by the Vikings.
Their drafting ability for skill players is the most pathetic probably in the NFL. Like, who have we hit on besides Rob Gronkowski?
Deion Branch, and that was a long time ago.
And Rob Gronkowski, we didn't even intentionally hit on. He was a guy with a back injury that we were taking later, and I mean, that was not one that they had pegged. That was the same year that they hit on Hernandez as well. So I mean, and again, he was a guy with a lot of troubles. Took him in the fourth round. You really weren't expecting a lot. These guys that they've put a lot of stock into at the top of the draft, they just haven't been able to do well. You look back all the way to Chad Jackson days, going up in the second round, and it's just been one miss after another. Bethel Johnson, I mean, you name it. They haven't been able to draft well at the wide receiver or skill positions.
Belichick, the coach, has been covering for Belichick, the GM,
For a long time.
Long time.
For a long time.
Yeah, but he always has every year where you have to trade for a receiver. Every year. Why can't we draft a receiver that's good and wait to get a receiver? I feel like he was pressured to get a receiver. I'm not giving him any excuses, but the Sony Michel pick the year before was just like, why?
Isaiah Wynn, Sony Michel.
I think
N'Keal
Isaiah Wynn's
Harry,
good.
Three straight picks.
I like
Isaiah
Sony.
Wynn. Isaiah
I
Wynn's
like
good.
Sony. I'll say it out loud. I'll say it for everyone.
You like Sony?
No. I liked. I used to like him.
No, you like the offensive line.
No. That Georgia-Alabama game, he looked like the best player on the
college.
field out there. in the national championship against Alabama, the best college football team in the dynasty. that
Alex,
we've ever
I'd
seen.
rather have a 48-year-old Antoine Smith than Sony Michel run the ball right now. He
Yeah,
is
I'm
that
with you.
bad.
I'm with you. I think he's
He can
terrible.
hit a hole.
He looked like he had speed. He looked like he had vision. He could catch. I mean, he looked like the type
He has
of
no
guy.
speed and no
and
knee.
he's got
in,
nothing.
in reality, he has
In
no speed
reality,
and
he's
no
got
knees.
neither.
He literally runs like Helen Keller now. He has no idea, no visibility to any of the holes. He just runs straight right into the offensive lineman. Like, the guy is terrible.
Sony, my Eskimo bro.
Holy shit, he sucks.
It's terrible.
Wow, that's strong. He's
I'm
not
sorry.
that bad.
I hate him. I
He's
think
not
he sucks.
that bad.
48-year-old Antoine Smith. I don't know if he could hit the holes.
He's our fourth back right now. Fourth.
Yeah, he's slightly worse than
Fourth.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis.
He's our fourth back.
Sure, we have good backs. Damian Harris is good.
Actually, I'd put the guy from Arizona State this year ahead of him. So he'd be our fifth back.
J.J. Taylor?
Yes.
So, guys, we've mentioned the fact that they don't have any firepower at the skill positions. Do you think they're actually going to do something this year? We've heard a couple names out there, David Njoku. We've heard David Ross. Are those any guys that you think they're going to potentially bring in? You think the Pats are bringing anyone in here?
I don't think the Pats are going to – I don't think Bill specifically is going to mortgage the future
John Ross is cheap,
for this COVID season.
John Ross is cheap. Last year of his rookie contract, you don't have to guarantee any money.
He's never done
late round
anything.
pick. Not the point. He asked.
He's just been fast at the draft.
But do you think we're going to bring somebody in? That's somebody.
I
That's
don't
a cheap
think.
price
I
tag.
don't
That's
think
somebody
John
that Bill
Ross
might be
is
able to
somebody.
maximize.
We already have John Ross. We have Demir Bird. We already have a
That's
guy
John
that can
Ross?
run fast
Oh, wow.
straight. We have a guy that can run fast straight. We already have him.
Quite hyperbolic.
The problem is the Pats, if they're going to get a receiver, not to the draft, they need to trade for one because no one's coming here. This isn't, back in the day, well, we'll get that guy because we have Tom Brady. Now we have Cam Newton, and we don't know what the future is, so no guys are going to sign here. We
Guys
need to
wanna
trade
play
for one.
with Cam though.
Which-
Odell would come play
We
here in
think
a
that.
heartbeat.
We
Just
think
because
that
they had
hasn't been
wine
proven.
together before the
They
season?
trained a lot this offseason together.
He didn't get him in Carolina, and he's not
Is
going to get him
Odell
here.
even necessarily the guy we want? Do we want Odell here?
I would take Odell
Over
in a
N'Keal
heartbeat.
Harry?
I mean,
I would take.
I would take him over N'Keal
I would
Harry.
take
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry over Odell.
is N'Keal
As
Harry
I-
even a
as
wide
would I.
receiver too?
Jarvis Landry is a better receiver.
Jarvis
for us.
Landry probably fits into this offense
Yes,
better.
100%.
Is N'Keal Harry a wide receiver 2, 3-year wide receiver 4?
He's becoming a tight
'Cause
end
I'm
one.
starting
He's
to
so
think
freaking
he's a
slow.
wide receiver 4. I'm at that point with him. He can
be your
He doesn't
third best-
have anything that he does well.
He can be your third best receiver, but because he can't play inside, he's a wide receiver 4.
He
I
might
was
be a
just going to
good
go
run
there,
blocker.
Frank. I was almost thinking, with some of the injuries to Edelman, maybe you start to spot this guy inside in the slot. And
I don't
see if
think he can
find
do
any-
it.
He's too slow.
I don't think he can do it. I honestly, he catches the ball with his body. He's flat-footed.
He's like a moose. It's
Yeah.
just absolutely.
But hey, he can block, and when our offensive line is okay, we're going to rush for 260 yards and be just fine.
who can block
We're going to
too?
win 10 games with a good offensive line.
Matt
You mark
Slater
my
can
words.
block too. He's our wide receiver 5.
Yeah, so can Brandon Bolden. All right,
Yeah.
so can Rex Burkhead. When we need to play versatile and over patriotize a game, we will. We didn't have it this game because we have 4 backups in on our offensive line. Generally, we're going to be able to do that, and even with that being said, Bill should be able to beat the Broncos. With no practice time, with half his roster gone with COVID, with no offensive line, the greatest coach of all time should get you past the Broncos. That's what's so frustrating about that loss.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that leaves us kind of scratching our heads here looking at this one. When we look a little bit forward into the season here, what do you guys think ultimately the Pats are going to do here? Is this going to be a rallying cry for them? They're going to turn things around? Is Cam really going to be a little bit more mistake-free and play better? Or do you think they're going to be stuck like this? And hold that thought. We've got one here. Hi, you're live on Open Season.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good, can't complain. Call and tell everyone how much I miss Tom Brady.
Oh, yes.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I think Tom can turn, pretty much sand into sandwiches. You know what I mean? If he was out there, I think on Sunday, I think he would have had a higher chance of winning. I don't think Cam necessarily knows what it means to dig deep like Tom does. That being said, it's like I'm very impressed with Cam, but I think attitude is what really could have drove that ball down the field in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely agreed. So you don't quite think it's something where it's a matter of the weapons. You think it's more of the matter of the quarterback?
I mean, Tom didn't have weapons for years. Tom made his weapons. He would get guys that were just right off the street. Jabbar Gaffney all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it. I think the other part is, at least on Sunday, all the weapons weren't there, especially on the offensive line. But as the season as a whole, I think, rule number 76, no excuses, play like a champion.
So what do you think Tom Brady would have made that play when Edelman threw him the ball and Cam Newton juked a guy out to get that first down? So you're telling me he has no heart in the fourth quarter in that last drive?
I think we've seen Tom time and again put his body on the line for the Patriots.
But
and
you
for the
didn't see it
and for the
last
W.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't see it against the Bears this year for Tampa. When his offensive line didn't play well like Cam the other day, he was angry, calling out his teammates, and losing.
I mean,
Josh Dodd says that Brady would have gotten murdered by that
Thank
line.
you.
Exactly.
Would have absolutely gotten murdered.
Tom Brady's made some
Yeah, but
amazing
Josh
throws
Dobbs
this
doesn't play
year.
in the NFL,
So-
anymore.
So wait,
I think
are you guys
I think
saying
his opinion is kind of trashy. Yeah.
are you guys saying that Brady is someone you don't miss? You don't miss
Oh,
Brady?
of course I miss Brady, but to think
All
that
right.
No.
with this team, I don't see how Brady would have won that game.
I think Brady would have won that game by throwing completions quickly out of that
To
pocket.
who?
Yeah,
Because
I
he
think
knows-
Brady. I
I
think
think
Brady,
Brady wins that
would have
game.
made quick decisions. He
Yep.
would have read that defense
It's-
a lot
yeah,
faster
he's
and been
very-
able to make decisive throws.
Yeah,
very
Cam
quick
sat
getting
in
the ball
pocket
out.
with his
Absolutely.
dick in his hand.
Who's he
waiting
supposed to
get
Brady
the
throw
ball.
already
to?
has
No
the
one's
chemistry
open.
with those guys.
What was that?
He said Brady had
Brady
the
has a
chemistry.
better chemistry with those guys.
I
He doesn't
totally
because he
agree.
refused to throw to half of
Yeah,
them last
exactly.
year.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous take.
Yeah,
I'm so
look,
sorry.
Look
Still
what
had better
happens though when you
chemistry.
try to throw to N'Keal Harry.
On-field chemistry, he had better chemistry.
He can't.
With which
Nikhil
one of
Harry's
them
a big
besides
pile of
Edelman?
rubbish.
All
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
That's
Oh my god!
not
Okay.
true.
All
But
of them.
okay.
Well,
let-
we have what, 2 receivers here from last season? Like we have N'Keal Harry and we have Julian Edelman. Those are the only guys playing that
as
were
soon
playing
as a
last
receiver
year.
would miss a route, Brady was like, "I'm not throwing to
He's
him
out of the
anymore."
circle of trust, Falker.
Yeah, like, what are you
That's
guys
a
talking
problem.
about?
And as he got older, he got more rigid. Brady wasn't good for this franchise by the end because he didn't want to be here anymore. That's what nobody wants to. He wasn't the. He's not the. What if he was here? We wouldn't be getting the same Tom that they have in Tampa Bay.
Exactly.
You get that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like he wasn't the
100%
same the
agree
last
with
couple
that.
years.
The question that was posed to me is how much do I miss Tom? And I miss Tom a lot. Do I think he's the right fit for right now? No, I don't think Tom's the long-term solution. It was clear he didn't want to be here.
He's
know?
been insufferable for
You know,
like 3 years. Good
I
riddance.
I
I'm so
miss
sorry.
Tom. I definitely miss
If
Tom.
you guys
I'm
could
with
all
you,
go
Nate.
I'm with you too.
Yeah, I miss him. Yeah.
I miss him too. I got his picture above my bed. I cry every night to him. I wish he was here, but he's not. So everyone's got to move on. Like, it is what it is. We got to make the best of what this season is.
If Tom was here, I bet he wouldn't have gotten COVID.
Well, that's because
Oh, that was
Giselle
right.
wouldn't let him out of the
Tom
house.
put in
Practicing
for-
out of high
Tom- I
school
don't
in
think Tom
Newton,
has
he
ever
might have
put
got it
himself
this
in that
summer.
situation.
Tom was trying harder than anyone to get COVID.
Tom would have been eating, practicing those plastic straws with Giselle. He wouldn't have got COVID.
No.
There's no way.
Nope.
Well, hey, anything else? We appreciate you calling in.
Go past. That's about it. Torti, love you, kid.
All
Love
right.
you too, brother.
Well, hey,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you checking in with us tonight, and yeah, definitely some good stuff there on Cam. But I think we all want to see. We all look back, and if we could reverse this move, I mean, I think we would all pay up for Brady. You're looking at what it would cost to get Cam for the next couple of years. Don't you think you'd have to break the bank to at least the tune of $20 million or something if you want to sign Cam Newton? Wouldn't you have rather paid 2 years for Tom Brady?
I mean,
didn't wanna be
I
here.
equate Tom,
He
the
didn't-
Tom breakup, to having a
wanna be
girlfriend, and you had some really great times with her. It was amazing, passionate, but at some point you realized she was no good for you. She realized she wasn't, staying on your path, and you guys were ready to go different ways. She moved on. You still miss her, even though you have a new girlfriend who's kind of sexy, but nothing special. But anyway, it's just that kind of situation right now. You know that you got to move on from that old girlfriend, and that's where we're at with Tom.
If your new
We had to
girlfriend
do
has
it.
an MVP, she's not all right. She's actually fantastic. Not the
She's
point.
not fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
If the new
anymore.
girl-
MVP
Not
has
anymore.
been to a Super Bowl.
If the
Not
new
anymore.
girlfriend is dating is an MVP and is the top team in the division or whatever, wouldn't
So what are we equating that to? She was the hottest girl in college, but she's gained
We're
like
just
30
equating
pounds.
it. No, that was a bad analogy altogether.
Yeah,
he
we're
didn't
just-
want to be here. I'm
should-
moving past that altogether.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be here, and that's why he had to go. It was absolutely time.
But didn't he not want to be here because they didn't want to make a 2-year commitment? Hi, you're live on Open Season. Who do we got?
Yeah, this is Eddie.
Eddie, what's going on, man?
Brats, man.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Oh, we're just we're squabbling over Tom Brady right now, I think.
Well, here's what I was thinking. You got a couple. I'll throw a couple names out there. Wayne Fonts, Eric Mangini, Patches O'Houlihan. 3 people who are better coaches than Bill Belichick.
I'm going to go with Patches O'Houlihan. I don't know who that is.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Dodgeball?
Are you kidding me?
Oh yes,
Dodgeball?
this is where he's going to dump on Bell. Let's hear it. What do you got?
Well,
hear it.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, look, they went out and got a quarterback who was more interested in looking at the Mashika catalog than he is
Oh, my God.
learning the playbook.
Oh,
okay.
my God.
By the way, that's where he gets his fedora hats. For anyone out there who doesn't know that, but what they should have done is they should have played Stidham. They should have went 0-16, and they should have got Trevor Lawrence, got rid of Belichick, put McDaniels as the head coach, and actually built a franchise. Instead, they're going to go from being the biggest cheaters of all time. They had a system quarterback. They shipped him out of here. He was halfway decent. Finally figured out how to play in the NFL. They shipped him to Tampa, and now they have a guy who's resting on his laurels. He couldn't have a winning season without Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Edelman. Did a little bit with Tom Brady, and I think they're going down the drain. I think that's it. I think we're going to have 20 years of losing seasons for the Patriots. I think it's over.
Eddie, I think you're smoking the same crack that Hunter Biden's smoking. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. I get tanking for Trevor Lawrence, but that's never going to happen with Bill Belichick.
We're going to be too good with Bill. It's never going to happen.
Name a coach that could coach this team. You look at the level of talent that's on this team.
Yeah, that's the point. Are you going to win a Super Bowl with this team?
So we should fire Bill Belichick when we get Trevor Lawrence? What is the point of that?
Yeah, you jumped the shark at McDaniels.
Let him answer. Let him answer.
Belichick, he's 68 years old.
And
Josh McDaniels is the future of that team. Let him take over with a young quarterback, and then maybe you sit Lawrence for another year.
Bill wants one more. Bill wants one more, at least before he moves on. He wants one more so that that they can't just say it was all Brady, and that's why Tom wanted to move away from Bill. It's the same thing. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if neither gets another.
Okay, but here's right, and look what Arians is doing with Brady. He's literally revamped that whole team down there.
You think it's Arians that's doing it?
Yeah,
Come
Arians.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't think it's Tom Brady that's come down there?
Arians is a boob. That's been Tom Brady.
You don't think that it's Tom Brady that's come down there and put his imprint on that team? He's coaching that team, not Bruce Arians.
Chris Godwin was literally like the third best receiver in the league last year. He might as well not even show up to the game.
He's been hurt. He has been hurt.
Did you have the
he
same
had
thoughts?
2 catches yesterday. They're going to hand off to Ronald Jones 25 times a game.
Did you have the same thoughts?
Brady's not going to be the reason that they win games. That's for sure. It's going to be the defense and the running game.
Did you have the same thoughts last week when Brady looked terrible against the Bears?
Yeah, I don't think Brady. I never thought Brady was a good quarterback. I thought he was an okay quarterback. I mean, I never thought he was great.
I never thought he was a good.
You think he's okay?
I'm all for contrarian takes.
I think he's a system quarterback.
But he's proving it this year. He's not.
Yeah, exactly. He's in a totally different system where it's completely different. It's a
Chuck
and duck system.
It's the same system.
No, it's not.
Honestly,
it's not the dink and dunk offense. It's throw deep.
It's the 0-1 Patriots.
Oh my God!
It's not the 0-1. It's not the 0-1 system. No, it's not.
Definitely
good defense, good running game,
good defense,
and don't get in trouble. They try to let him throw the ball first 2 games. He threw a pick 6. That's it. They're not going to do that anymore. Now they're going to run the ball 35 times a game with Fournette and Ronald Jones. Get the tight ends involved. Play solid defense. Hope Brady doesn't lose you the game.
Hey, Eddie,
that's the plan.
Eddie, how old are you?
42.
Okay. Could you throw a football like that? Tom Brady's a 43 doing what he's doing right now, and he's an
I go to the field. I throw one every day. I can throw it about 25 yards on a dime.
I bet you.
Okay. All right. I got my 7-year-old running a 15-yard out route. None of you guys can cover him. Okay.
Well, hell, Eddie, you got us laughing. Anything else?
Nope. That'll be it.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you calling in tonight.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Everybody's commenting that Eddie's a troll. Gotta love it. But I mean, honestly, Eddie does believe that stuff. It's crazy, but we'll get past that. I mean, I think Tom Brady has obviously shown that he can manage a different type of offense. I think the thing is that is a different type of offense, and he's shown that he can kind of, be a guy that can go to a different offense and still make it flourish. I mean, is that what you guys are pretty much thinking? I mean, he goes to a completely different offense than Bruce Arians' offense, I think.
I don't think it's completely different, and I don't think it's completely Arians' system. They're running the ball more, and they're using a lot of play action. And play action is Tom Brady's bread and butter. They have taken more shots, and they have let him take a couple more hits than I thought they would. So there's something to your point there.
Well, we can only talk about Tom Brady and the Pats for so much. We've got to get on to Le'Veon Bell, guys, got picked up by the Chiefs, and we didn't get to see him this week. They knock off the Bills, who the Bills are quickly turning into a pumpkin. But how about the Chiefs, and how about them moving forward with a guy like Le'Veon Bell? Is this the best offense that Andy Reid has had?
As a contrarian, I went back to his Packer days to see if I could find a low-key better offense that he's been on. I went back to his college days. The answer is yes, this is the best offense he's ever coached. It's got more talent than he's ever been around. Give me the Vic Eagles, give me Brett Favre, give me Brian Westbrook and T.O. This is the most collective talent he's ever had in his professional coaching career.
And this offense isn't just talented.